Hi, Julie.
Hi, Elizabeth.
It's nice to see you today. How are you
Great
doing?
to see you too. I'm doing well. I'm glad to see that you are up and around.
Yes, slow and sure, but I'm almost back at it. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. We're 2 weeks in now to this isolation period, and I really wasn't too concerned about how I would fare. But now that the isolation orders have intensified and are more prolonged, I'm starting to feel a little bit of that anxiety.
And I know you work at home, and you and
I
I
do.
have worked together a lot on Zoom calls. And I agree with you. The anxiety is starting to hit me a little bit more too as it gets more prolonged, which I think
Mm.
is strange because I am so used to working from home.
Yeah, same. I have an advantage over a lot of my friends who, had to adjust. They had to get the setup for working from home, and they had to adjust to how everything would change. I've been working from home for 7 years, so that wasn't that part. That part of it wasn't so much of a an adjustment, but not being able to leave and not being able to go out and see your friends, and that's all really starting to hit me now. I live by myself, so I don't have adult humans around to interact with in live in real time, so
Right?
it's starting to get to you.
So, what's your normal day like before the pandemic, before the isolation?
A typical day would be, get up, walk the dog, and then sit down and get to work. I don't have a commute, work all day, but then at the end of the day, I would usually run my errands or go get something to eat, maybe go out and support some of my local eating establishments and, maybe meet up with some friends and do something, go see some live music. And those things were all part of my regular routine every week.
So, are you ordering in?
I have been ordering for takeaway and for delivery. I do think it's important right now to support your local businesses. I'm terrified. I live in a very small town where local businesses are the heart of it, and I am just terrified to see how many of them will not recover from this and how empty our Main Street will be come June or July or September or whenever this is finally over.
I was in a quarantine until the results of my COVID test came back, and I'm still
Hmm.
quarantined by orders of myself and my family because I'm still weak from pneumonia. But I definitely am ordering in a lot.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I hate to
Yeah.
see my favorite restaurants go belly up because of this.
I've been buying a lot of gift cards as well
Have
because
you?
you can use those for later visits.
That's
So,
true. That's true.
yeah.
So, wow. So now what are you doing? Now you said that your emotional attitude a little bit is changing. So how are you coping?
Well, I think I mentioned in a conversation we had earlier, I have a lot of books and I have a lot of yarn. And I'm a knitter, so I'm doing a lot of nervous knitting. So, I'm just spending more time doing those kinds of things to keep myself busy and trying to, not focus too much on what I can't do and just focus on what I can do. And another one of the things that I am doing, a call went out for my local medical center here in Annapolis, Maryland, for some hand sewn face masks that fit over the way they're using them in our medical center. And I know they're using them differently in different places. They're fitting over the N95 masks, but these fabric masks are obviously washable and reusable. Those healthcare workers that have more casual contact can wear just the face mask itself without the N95 because I know that they are so scarce. But it is something that they've asked us to do. They are also asking for the surgical caps that they use to hold their hair back. I just got a pattern for that to whip up a couple of those as well. It's a way that I can give back to the community while I'm keeping myself busy.
That's great. So are you have like really wild patterns or are you plain and
Well, I've
basic?
selected some fun patterns, keeping in mind that different kinds of people, everybody's going to be wearing them, men and women and other things. So, I've chosen some very nondescript blues and purples, but I do have a kind of a fun flame mask that I've done. So,
Oh, wow.
nice bright red.
And I see you have ties
Yeah,
dangling
so
down
I've made them with ties so that they're easier to adjust over your head. They're not quite as irritating as the elastics are, and they will wash a lot better than the elastics do. So they can be reused. So some of them are kind of fun, but some of them are just keeping in mind that a lot of different kinds of people are going to be wearing these.
there. Yeah, I like those blues and purples. They were kind of classy. Julie, I hadn't heard of people putting a fabric mask over the 1095
N95.
mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really,
Yeah.
really good idea.
Yeah, and I didn't realize until I noticed the pattern that I was using was made a little bit bigger than a regular face mask, and then I realized when I went back to the medical center's Facebook page that they were being used to do that. You can also, there's different patterns. Some patterns are more intricate for people with more advanced sewing skills, but even just these take me about 5 minutes, and I don't have any advanced sewing skills, so they're very, very simple to do. But you can do some with pipe cleaner in there for the nose piece, and you can do one where the N95 mask is actually inserted into your fabric mask. And again, like I said, they had a pattern for surgical caps. So there's a lot of different things you can do to switch it up and have some fun with it.
Are you just taking it as it goes, or do you have a goal for how many you might be able to sew?
Well, the first batch I made, I was in response to one of my friends whose daughter is a healthcare worker at a hospital in Virginia. So I made about a dozen, and I sent them off. So I'll do at least another dozen here. But it's just a matter of getting fabric, because the fabric stores are not open. They're open, but you can't just walk in. You have to place your order online, and then you go and pick it up. So it's sort of a matter of whether or not I can still get the fabric and that kind of stuff. But I'll certainly use up everything that I have, so that'll give me about another dozen masks.
I think it's an awesome thing to do. My sewing machine is at my mother's, so I'm not going to be sewing masks, but I'm hoping maybe she'll sew one for me.
There you go. I'll send you one of mine.
There you go. Well, actually don't. I'm
right.
I'm probably not going to go out of my house for a while, except to sit on the balcony and get some fresh air when it's warm enough. So
yeah. Looking forward to some nicer weather too.
Yes, that will help us. You know how to get in touch with me if you just want to talk.
Okay, thank you.
We need to talk about some of those books that we're reading and things. Actually, what are you reading right now or listening to?
I just finished Midnight in Chernobyl, which gives this particular situation a lot of perspective, because radiation is something that you don't recover from. The people of the towns around Chernobyl were never able to return to their homes, and they weren't isolated. They had to evacuate, and it gave me a little bit of perspective on what we're getting through right now. I finished that the other day, so now I'm reading The Splendid and the Vile, which is Eric Larson's book on Winston Churchill.
Okay, wow, you are doing some heavy reading. I think we've shared before, I read mostly nonfiction, right?
Same here, yeah.
And I just have a lot of books in my wish list that I could read, but something happened to me. I think when I was real sick with pneumonia, and the burden of just seeing what's going on around me has made me heavy-hearted. So I decided to go for some fiction. And it's called The Mists of Avalon, and it's 51 hours.
Oh, I read that a long, long time ago.
Did you love it?
Loved that book. Oh my gosh, yes.
Good.
Yes.
It's going to take me a long time.
I read that in the early 90s, I think I read that.
Yeah, I think it was published in 93, so that's about right. Well, good, because if you're going to commit to 51 hours, it's good to have feedback. That's positive. So I love the Arthurian legend, and I'm hoping to kind of use that as an escape. But I'm going to do this podcast, going to keep working. We're working on a project together. We're on a team. Keep on that, and just hang in there.
Okay, you too.
And
I'm so glad you're doing better.
Thank you. And I really appreciate the work you're doing with those masks.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Julie, we'll talk later.